And now, in studio, bringing his Midwest values from the Show Me State to the land of San Diego. He's a triple threat, licensed as an attorney, mortgage broker, and a top producing realtor who's crushing the competition. Here to deliver you what's happening in the trenches of the market. Your host, Michael Gaddis.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Michael Gaddis Show. I am Michael Gaddis, your host of MichaelGaddis.com and FrontierLoanGroup.com. I am here every Wednesday at 8 p.m. to discuss anything and everything related to real estate. I truly am San Diego's real estate expert. So I want to talk a little bit today about the San Diego real estate market. And not just San Diego, I guess. I want to talk about the real estate market in general in Southern California. So one of the things I read as I was preparing for the show was that an article that was written, and the article I have is from KPBS. It says, San Diego real estate sales take a plunge. Wow. Whoa, there was Will humming in the background there, who I have not introduced yet, but thank you, Will. The number of home sales in San Diego continued to plunge last month on both a monthly and annual basis, according to figures released Thursday by the San Diego Association of Realtors. Just over 1,400 single-family homes sold in November. That's down 25% from October and 7% lower than in November 2014. So that is a huge difference. And so I'm going to talk a little bit with Michelle Herrera of Michael Gaddis Realty Group, who is with us today. Hey, Michelle, everyone. What does that say to you? I mean, what these figures are going down. Have you been seeing that kind of reduced amount of volume in your own business?
Yeah, definitely. In Orange County, it's settling out a little bit. I think sellers are a little more apprehensive. Everybody's kind of just waiting for the right moment. So it's, your sellers are going away, and then that's decreasing the market in general. Well,
that's a pretty substantial difference. I mean, we're talking 25%. That's not like 4%, 5%. That's a huge reduction from before. And what's interesting is to compare it to another article that I found. It's on Zillow. It says Zillow panel, San Diego real estate market nearing bubble. So we have a 25% reduction in the amount of sales. And then we have an article now that's saying San Diego real estate market's nearing a bubble. It says almost a third of the experts surveyed by online real estate marketplace Zillow say the San Diego housing market is already in a bubble or in danger of being a bubble within the next 12 months. That's a pretty bold statement.
I think what's happening here is that your home prices are increasing higher than the person's average income. So with that, people are getting, they're not able to purchase these homes because they're increasing so much quicker than their own incomes. They're bottoming out.
Well, I think that people in San Diego and Orange County and LA, I think they all live in a bubble. Because I'll tell you something. I'm not originally from California, as most of you know. I moved here over 16 years ago. In fact, let me just digress for 1 second. The day that I moved from Kansas City to San Diego, I remember the day. It was January 4th, 1999. So if all of you out there think about where you were at on January 4th, 1999. Why do I remember that? I remember that because that's the day I got in my car in Kansas City. It was 0 degrees out with like a negative wind chill of -10. We had just had a snow and ice storm. Yes, people, there are things called ice storms, and that's where ice comes and blankets everything. It is the worst thing.
We have storms, Michael.
Oh,
we have real storms.
Oh, storms. Yeah, yesterday, by the way, we had a little rain. Yeah.
It rained a lot.
Michelle thought it was a hurricane.
It was.
She was like, oh, my God. She was like strapping
herself. That is so untrue.
Oh, yeah.
You're completely over-exaggerating the situation.
No, I am not. You totally thought it was a hurricane outside. You were like batting down the hatches, and you were going to Costco to buy things. You were just in a panic mode.
Buying umbrellas. I definitely bought one or two.
So my whole point is that Californians are not in touch with that. But I remember the day I left, I had snow on top of my car because we had this snowstorm. And by the way, when you live in areas like where I live, you have to warm your car up before you can even drive it.
We would love to be stuck in a snowstorm.
Oh, no,
How
you wouldn't.
amazing does that sound?
It's all toys
Beautiful.
for you. No,
I don't agree.
No, I know you
love
don't.
California.
That for you, for Californians, snow is going to Big Bear and hanging out on a sled or something like that.
There's a lot of snow
And then I
there.
leave.
It's understandable.
No, and you know what's funny? It's crazy because if you go anywhere else where they have real rain, you could get normal news.
What constitutes real rain?
Well, not this. This is just like a mist.
It was raining for a full 24 hours
I'm serious.
yesterday.
When I moved out
what
here,
more rain did you want?
the first thing I heard when I moved out here, I saw a weather forecast, and it was like sprinkling outside, and it was Storm Watch 2000. The weather guy was on that. I thought it was a joke. He's like, yeah, and there's like the reporters on the sides of the street in mist. They're all sitting there talking about it.
Water rips to the Southland.
Water rips to the Southland. I was like, are you kidding me? This is a sprinkle. This is nothing. But you know what? Sure enough, I mean, there they are. The meteorologists have nothing to report all year long until there's a sprinkle, and then they're all out there literally tying themselves to street lights because the high winds are coming. It's like 5 miles an hour.
Santa Ana winds.
Gotta earn that paper somehow.
Yeah, you got to do it somehow, But I mean, so I get in my car January 4th, 1999, and I drive out here. And first of all, the snow has to like melt off my car. So I'm driving, and there's snow flying off my hood into my windshield. I can barely see. And
It's
there's
like when
ice
you're
all
driving in
over.
the rain.
Oh my
Hitting
God.
the windshield. You can barely see.
Well, you know what they
It gets
do in the
dark
Midwest
outside.
too? You don't know. They put salt on the ground. And the reason they do that is to prevent the ice from freezing. Yes, ice falls on the ground, guys. And so they prevent the ice. But the problem is the salt gets all over your car. And I had a black car. Mm-hmm. And so by the time I got to California, I had the filthiest car that any Californian has ever seen in their life because it was caked with salt and, all this dirt from, the snow and stuff. I drove into California. People were looking at me like, where have you been? Where did you come from? Look, I came out of a Mad Max movie or something like that. They had no idea where I was. So anyway, I digressed. But my whole point is that, what Michelle kind of said earlier is that, house prices continue to rise. People in California do not know reality, I don't think. I mean, what you can buy a house for, the median house price in San Diego County is around $536,000, give or take. $536,000 where I come from, it's like it'll be on Cribs. You got MTV Cribs over there for a $536,000 house.
You got the West Wing and the East Wing.
Yeah, you got the East Wing. You got Shaquille O'Neal running around there.
How you have to compare that to what people's average incomes are?
Well, that's true, but I mean, I guess my point is that as these prices, like for example, and I'm not pointing out, I was showing some buyers some property down in San Diego. I was going to some areas around the stadium, and around there, the house prices were between $510 and $530, and the houses were like built in 1950. They're around between 11 and 1,400 square feet. And I kid you not, where I come from in Missouri, those things would have probably been worth, $65,000, $70,000, maybe $100,000 if they were fixed up.
That just blows our mind.
Yeah, and these things were selling in terrible condition. They were selling at like $510,000, $515,000, no negotiation. I'm like, are you kidding me? I would never have even thought about buying it. And are you kidding?
No,
But that's what we in California are used to. Paul, are you a native California?
I'm born and raised in San Diego.
So you have no concept of reality.
No, well, I spent a lot of time in Massachusetts, so I do know what real
You have
weather's
to take
like.
offense to that, Paul. You have to say this is not okay. This is
what you
untrue.
think is unacceptable, you think, $500,000, that's normal. That's what everyone pays for a house. That's not. Paul, you can move tomorrow to Texas and buy yourself for $200,000. You could buy yourself a brick palace.
But where is Paul going to work in Texas?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think about
story.
that. I did not think about
He still
that.
has to pay for a $200,000 home.
That's a good point. But touche to you. But the whole point is the cost of living and cost of homes in those areas is not quite what it is. So, as this bubble starts to come up, and it's amazing that we've allowed this bubble to reoccur, because the last time we had a bubble like this, 2007, 2008, right before the housing crisis. So all of a sudden these prices have creeped back up, and now we're getting these warnings about that. Now I know, Michelle, you have something that says that even Orange County might be nearing that as well. Isn't that the case?
Yeah, definitely. It shows here that Orange County is the second most overvalued housing market in the country, second only to Austin, Texas.
Wow.
Weird, huh?
Wow, Austin, Texas is a very cool place. If I moved, I mentioned Texas. If I move anywhere, I'd move to Austin, Texas.
Would
That
you?
place, it's awesome. It literally
Wow,
But it's overpriced.
yeah, and I could tell I could tell
highly
everybody in
inflated
this
as
room
well.
is from California because I said Austin, Texas, and everybody's like, "Really?" No, I'm serious. Austin, there are nice places besides Southern California.
Austin,
I know
Texas
it's
is
hard to
nice,
believe.
yeah.
So is it easy to assume that they probably live in a bubble as well?
No, they don't live in a bubble. They're
You don't
more
think so?
no, because the prices aren't as high. Even though it's really nice there, I mean, they're saying it's overpriced. You know, it's still very reasonable. Anyway, Paul's in there shouting at me that we need to go to a break. So I am going to continue this conversation with Michelle about San Diego real estate, and we're going to talk a little bit about what your realtor might be doing wrong after we get back from the break. You're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer.
AM 1170 The Answer.
Hey, Craig Sewing here, consumer activist. You hear me every day at 6 p.m. on KCBQ. My goal is to help you win in any marketplace. One of the things that applies to every single person that listens to our show and that's listening right now, you have a credit score, and more likely than not, it has inaccuracies on it. Nobody seems to understand how these things work. Here's what I can tell you. I have a credit expert that's a partner in the show named Aran Sinai. I call him the credit magician. If you've ever had any issues with your credit, you want to get your scores up, maybe a foreclosure, bankruptcy, or maybe just a collection. You know the city of San Diego can send parking tickets to collections? Crazy. Well, bad credit's a choice. Reach out to Aran Sinai. How do you do that? You go to our website, AmericanDreamElite.com. AmericanDreamElite.com. Hit me up on the contact form. I'll connect you with Aran. AmericanDreamElite.com. If you've ever had any credit issues whatsoever, AmericanDreamElite.com.
Who would you rather have representing you when buying or selling your home? A real estate agent or a real estate and mortgage broker who is also a licensed California attorney? To sell your home for top dollar, or if you're facing a forced sale due to divorce, probate, short sale, or bankruptcy, you'll need the added value and marketing services of a realtor with the knowledge and experience of a licensed attorney and mortgage broker on your side.
Hi, I'm Michael Gaddis. I give you more, but it doesn't cost you more.
Visit MichaelGaddis.com. That's Michael, Gaddis.com. DRE 0146543 and NMLS 28001.
Hi, this is AJ Gupta from the Gupta Legal Center. You've probably seen us on the American Dream TV show and the Craig Sewing radio show. We're honored to be featured as the exclusive real estate attorney and honored to be trusted by Craig and all of his top producing realtors. Our office was also featured as a super lawyer representing California's top 5% of attorneys. You may not know whether you need an attorney or not. My suggestion is you kind of have an idea whether there's a problem or a question. So I suggest if you don't know whether you need an attorney or not, give us a call. We're happy to pick up the phone, give you a call back, figure out what it is that you need to have addressed. If we can't or don't know the issue, then we can definitely point you in the right direction. Our phone number is 619-866-3444. That's 619-866-3444, and that's GuptaLC.com. GUPTALC.com.
Welcome back to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis, of MichaelGaddis.com and FrontierLoanGroup.com. We're going to continue our discussion about real estate, but before we do, people of California, four-wheel drive vehicles do not help on ice. We were talking during the break, and Michelle said, I'm just going to go buy myself a big truck.
Michael.
But it does not help when you're driving on ice. Trust me, I know. Okay. And just for the record, too, let's introduce Will in here because he just can't seem to keep himself out of the conversation.
excited
Will
to be
Abzali
here,
of Frontier Loan Group is here as well.
Thank you.
Round of applause.
Thank you.
So back to the discussion at hand. We were talking about real estate. We were talking about San Diego real estate kind of numbers and how they're down and how Orange County is the second most overpriced community. And I would agree with that, by the way. It is extremely overpriced. But one of the things I want to talk about is kind of real estate agent mistakes and things. The other day, I'm in my office and I'm looking through listings from Carlsbad. I'm looking through listings that are between $1 million and $2 million with houses that are over 3,000 square feet. So I pull them up, and I think there was like 110 listings or something like that. So I start looking through listing by listing by listing. And you know what I noticed? I noticed that people who hire these real estate professionals don't really, I think, QC their work, because the pictures that were on these listings were horrible. And I'm thinking, oh my God. You know, these people are getting paid a lot of money to market these properties, and the pictures were horrible on the MLS. And what's bad is because I look through the MLS, and I'm like, okay, first of all, I could tell this one is not a professional. This guy looks like he took it with a Polaroid camera.
I know.
This one,
so
you know,
bad.
looks like, you know, the old Polaroid cameras where the thing pops out of the front of the camera. It looks like that, to that quality.
Some don't even have pictures.
Some of them don't even have pictures. Some of them just have one picture. And these are not like $300,000-$400,000 listings, which, by the way, would still be a lot in Kansas City. But I'm just saying, but they're not. These are $1 million plus listings. And these guys are getting away with putting crap on their listings, and they're getting away with it. I was telling Michelle earlier today that I think maybe only 30% of the listings that I saw had quality pictures on them.
Photo.
Yeah, professional, you know, maybe some aerial drone photos, just some different type of photos that are going to capture people's attention. And Michelle, I know you deal a lot with buyers, and, you know, photos are important, aren't they?
Yeah, well, the truth is everybody's mainly going to the internet to search, right? So if all they see is what's in front of them, why not have as many photos as possible and quality photos? That's the only thing that's going to determine whether they're going to go view the home or not, you know?
Well, yeah, it's their first impression.
First impression is everything.
Yeah, you know, and it happens a lot because when, you know, we send our clients, you know, listings, or even if the client is looking on their own.
Yeah, they see the same thing.
On the websites. They're looking through and they're seeing it, and they're looking at the same pictures I am. I'm telling you, people, that when buyers look at listings, they'll look at pictures, and if they don't like what they see, I mean, they'll move on to the next one. Even if that picture is not reflective of what your home is really like, that's what their impression is, and they'll move on, and you will not get the visibility. I know it sounds like, you know, real estate 101, you gotta take good pictures, but it's true. And it's amazing how many people are still getting away with it. They're still putting crappy pictures on there. And I just looked at one submarket of all of San Diego and Orange County. I just looked at one submarket. I guarantee you, if I took that same criteria and went city by city by city by city,
find so many
same thing. It's just people are letting people get away. They're just, in my opinion, they're just not vetting their real estate people well enough to really give them and maximize, you know, what they can get for their house, and it's affecting it.
Yeah, I think if a home is, you know, above a certain price point, you should definitely have a professional go in there and take some pictures. I mean, what does it cost you? A few $100s?
Well, it's true. It doesn't cost that much, and you need to get a good
or even take the
photographer.
time and do good pictures yourself. I mean, let's all be honest, an iPhone 6 can take some lovely pictures.
It can, but I think, you know, let me tell you something. I have a professional camera. I mean, I went out and bought one of these cameras because I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna
pay somebody.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it myself. So I had this brainiac idea that I was gonna go try this. So I spent a lot of money on this camera. I go out and I took pictures of this house. They looked like crap. And so I tried it again. Then
Maybe you're just not a good photographer.
No, then I took a course.
And then I took a course.
So what I did is then I went out and I hired a professional real estate photographer to come in and take a picture. And after he was done, I saw his pictures. I said, man, your pictures are so much better than me. I have the same camera as you.
Yeah.
And he goes, look, it's the bottom. I'm a professional. He goes, this is what I do for a living. I know how to set it. I know the lighting. I know what to do to make this property shine. You don't.
Yeah.
He said, unless you do it all the time, you're not going to know, well, in this particular room, because these windows are at this angle and this and from this. He goes, this is what I do.
Yeah, they come in at a certain time. The light is there. I mean, they don't mess around.
And it's not, he goes, look, I don't come into your business and try to do your business. And I got taught a lesson. So now I have a very expensive camera sitting on my shelf that I no longer attempt to use on any of my listings. You can at least use it for good
quality
Absolutely, absolutely, and they still are not coming out good even then. But I mean, the point is, you have to hire professionals to do it. I don't pretend to be a real estate photographer, and I'm not going to do it. But what I am going to do is set my clients up with the best real estate photographer that I know of, and I'm going to make sure their house shines.
Yeah, definitely. I used to work with. Sorry for interrupting.
No, go ahead.
I worked with an investor, and it doesn't matter if he sold a $200,000 home or $1 million home. every single time we would have a professional photographer. And honestly, these homes would be on the market for a few days and go.
Well, you have to. And we do the same thing. We always hire a professional photographer.
It's very important.
It doesn't matter, you know.
And if you're paying your agent, you know, a few $1,000s, you should definitely require some professional photos.
I think that's one small thing you could require of people. You know, look, your commission is going to be whatever. I think you can go and help me get some professional photographer.
$200.
Yeah, I mean, it really makes a difference. And you know, here's another thing that's really important. We're talking about first impressions of houses and looking through listings. I had a listing one time that when I went over to the house, they had this accent wall, and it was really bright red. And so I walk in the house, this wall's in your face. I mean, it's like literally slapping me around. I'm like, I can't stop looking at it. It's like literally like a train wreck in the house. And I get it, what they were attempting to do. And when I mentioned it, I broached the topic. I said, okay, this red wall, we love the red wall. We're not getting rid of the red wall. Do not.
You have to respect that.
And I'm like, wait a minute, but you're trying to sell the house, and what if people don't like the red wall? Well, they have to paint, don't they? They could paint the wall. Well, here, let me tell you something. When people are looking at pictures on the internet or looking through, previewing your pictures, things like a red wall, believe it or not, will cause them to go click, next.
Yeah.
They will just do it because, you know, they don't think, well, I can just paint that. Well,
exactly.
They don't think that way.
They're thinking what's in front of them.
They think about what's in front of them.
And if it matches their furniture and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they don't think about that. Now, I personally do because I'm a handyman kind of guy. I could do a lot of different things. I can work around the house. I could do things.
Have you painted a wall, Michael? When's the last time you painted a wall?
I did, but I had to paint the ceiling too because the paint got on the ceiling. So it was kind of turned into a very large ordeal.
That's where we go back to professionals doing the job.
And that's true. And I learned my lesson from that because cutting in paint is very hard.
This is why Michael sticks to real estate.
It is very hard to be a painter and to cut in those edges. That's why anytime I go into a house,
it really is.
Lines.
It is quite the trade.
It is a trade. It is hard.
Yeah. And getting that tape on there perfectly flat.
You know,
it's impossible. It's close to impossible.
I hired a guy to paint my house probably about 2 months ago, and he did some interior. He did not tape, and he had the most perfect lines I have ever seen.
That's a very, very good painter.
I'm like, oh my God, how do you do that? And I appreciate that because I tried to do it.
It doesn't happen.
I mean, straight lines. I mean, no tape. And there was nothing on the floor either. I'm like, how the hell do you do that?
It's impossible.
It's amazing to me. I mean, I really do appreciate the artisanship of that because it does take a lot to be able to do that.
Very precise hand.
But the whole point is this red wall. This guy was arguing about this red wall with me, and you're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer, and we're talking about a red wall. And the red wall that we're talking about today, it was this person's wall in their house, and they just refused to paint it. And I said, okay, look, I'm going to leave the red wall up. Now, one of the things I did is I put the picture on the internet towards the back of the pictures, even though it was a focal point in the house. It was one of the main areas of the house for this home. So I had to put it as one of the last pictures, and it was near the kitchen, so I know everyone's looking through the picture. Where's the kitchen? Where's the kitchen? You know, finally they came to it, and they got hit with that red wall. Well, we did not get very many views for the first 2-3 weeks. And when we did, I contacted the people and asked them, I said, so what are your thoughts on the house? And they said, you know what, really, my client didn't like that red wall. And I said, you're kidding me. You know they can paint it. She goes, look, you know and I know they can paint it, but there's just too many other selections out there, and they just wanted to go somewhere else. That just really turned them off. So I said, do you mind putting that in writing to me? Email me, because they don't believe me that this red wall is causing problems. So I ended up getting, I think, 7 or 10 of these emails basically saying red wall, red wall, red wall. Finally, I finally showed it to them, and they finally came to their senses, and they painted the red wall. They neutralized it. And that's why neutralizing paint colors, and I know people like bold colors and stuff, but when you're selling a property, you're not the one buying it. You got to try to appeal to you're trying to appeal to the masses, not the people who appreciate, color splash from from HGTV. Not everyone does that. So, it's one of those things, but the quality of these pictures, as we go back to the initial topic, they really, really have been lacking. And I think it goes back to how people vet their real estate professionals. One question you need to ask, if you get nothing else out of this segment, if you get nothing else but just some mindless chatter that goes on while you're driving, get this. Ask your real estate professional if they're going to give you professional photos.
I just want to make a comment. I am working with somebody who is purchasing a property, And I asked them, how'd you get this property? She said that we lowballed them because they didn't have very good pictures. And I went online to look at the pictures. You can see, when they take a picture of the bathroom, you can still see the real estate agent
standing right behind there in the mirror.
In his workout uniform with his sleeves cut off.
Working hard.
A picture. So they said, you know what? We lowballed this guy and we didn't really respect that, they were serious. And
it really says a lot about the home, unfortunately.
And it also says a lot about the professionalism of the person that's doing it for you. It does. And
you can notice anything that has either just horrible pictures or no pictures at all or just really bad quality, those homes are sitting on the market 30, 60, 90 days.
They are. They're sitting there longer, and there's a reason for it.
Yeah.
And see, at Michael Gaddis Realty Group, here's a little pitch for me, but it's the truth. We believe in quality. I believe in giving people, there's no way I would ever try to put, because I have to put my name on listings, right? My name goes on every one of my listings. Do you really think I want my name on shabby photos and things like that look like they're from a Polaroid? I don't. I don't. What I want is top quality photographs that's going to try to drive as many people there as possible. And you cannot minimize this. I don't care if your real estate professional goes in there and says, well, don't worry, I've got my own camera. Just like I told you earlier, I have my own camera. It will not turn out the same. You can have your real estate professional bring in his camera and take pictures right next to the guy who's taking the pictures professionally, and they will not look the same. So I strongly suggest that you guys, when you're vetting your real estate professionals, that you ask them if they're specifically, are you using professional photos? Not only that, but you should also ask them if they're going to use any aerial shots, because aerial shots and drone photos are really starting to come in right now, and they are becoming a big feature, and they're really nice. You could get some really high quality pictures of drones, and it's
giving people really good ideas to what they're going to go view.
Different perspectives,
especially if you're coming in from, you're driving from a distance. You can only go off the photos.
That's right. You can't do it. And so, I think that's the one thing I wanted to take away from this, aside from, all the other stuff. But
what's all the other stuff,
all
Michael?
the other stuff. But, I think that, just make sure that you're hiring somebody that really knows what they're doing.
Who's going to take the time.
They're going to take the time. They have the know-how. There are angles I saw in some of these pictures. Why did they even shoot the picture from that angle? It made their
hallway.
It made their bathroom look like it was their
hallway
looked
amazing.
I'm like, what are you kidding me? I would never even put that up there. And for God's sakes, the toilet paper's like on the back of the toilet. it's just like you have terrible
like the little
pictures.
Things. Exactly.
Yeah, someone didn't clean their counters off the kitchen. It's got like all kinds of dirty dishes. I saw one with dirty dishes.
Yeah, and the clutter. It's just like, what?
So anyway, after the break, we're going to come back and talk a little bit more with Will Afzali about home financing. And we're going to find out what the best way to purchase a property is, especially when you're putting small amounts of money down. So you're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer.
AM 1170 The Answer and AM1170theanswer.com.
Hey, San Diego, Craig Sewing here. Look, one of the things that nobody likes to hear is that they got bugs in their home. Almost all California homes have some sort of bug or termite problem. It's not a cool thing to have bugs running around your house, so I'm going to help you get rid of them. I want you to connect with Lloyd's Pest Control. These are our good friends of the Craig Sewing Show. They can help you. They've been in business putting bugs out of business since 1931. They'll do a free inspection for you. If you want to get your biggest investment checked out, make sure there's not bugs or termites, go to LloydPest.com. That's LloydPest.com and get a free inspection of your real estate today. Hey, Craig Sewing here. There's no shortage of commercials out there, whether it's TV, radio, even social media. And heck, I even saw an infomercial for solar. You see it everywhere these days. Well, it's because solar is important. It can reduce your electric bill. It's good for the planet. And it's just a great thing to do with your home. It can add value to it. However, there is so much misinformation. Just because somebody is out there advertising does not make them a reliable source. I want to introduce you to my good friends with Baker Electric Solar. The owner, Mike Terreso, I've got to know him really well. This is the only company that I would recommend for you to reduce your electric bill through solar energy. Such a smart move. It's time to do it. Here's how you reach out to them. BakerElectricSolar.com. BakerElectricSolar.com. They will talk to you for free. They'll give you an assessment, and they will help you reduce that electric bill. And again, this is the only group that I trust. BakerElectricSolar.com.
Who would you rather have representing you when buying or selling your home? A real estate agent or a real estate and mortgage broker who is also a licensed California attorney? To sell your home for top dollar, or if you're facing a forced sale due to divorce, probate, short sale, or bankruptcy, you'll need the added value and marketing services of a realtor with the knowledge and experience of a licensed attorney and mortgage broker on your side.
Hi, I'm Michael Gaddis. I give you more, but it doesn't cost you more.
Visit michaelgaddis.com. That's Michael, Gaddis.com. DRE 0146543 and NMLS 28001.
Going through divorce can be very stressful. It is important to know your rights. I'm attorney Ilona Antonian. I'm a certified family law specialist. For over a decade, I've been helping San Diegans win their divorce and custody cases. If you have questions about divorce, property division, child or spousal support, modification of orders, or find yourself in a custody battle, please call us at 619-696-1100. Find us online at expertdivorcelaw.com, where you can download our free divorce, mediation, and recovery guides that I hope you find useful.
Welcome back to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis of michaelgaddis.com and frontierloangroup.com. We're going to do a segment now on finance, so I'm going to do a little bit of disclosures here. Frontierloangroup.com is licensed by the California Bureau of Real Estate, license number 0144-9152, NMLS number 345305. I, myself, Michael Gaddis, am licensed by the California Bureau of Real Estate, license number 014-33800, NMLS number 280011. So, somebody called me the other day and asked me a scenario. They said, I am working with a lender that is giving me an FHA loan. They quoted their interest rate, which for the sake of this was 4.25, which won't get into the details of how they got that, but just for the sake of this, 4.25%. They said, can you beat it? And so I said, well, what's your situation, And so I went through their situation, found out that they had FICO scores that were really good. Both their FICO scores were over 740. They were putting 5% down, and they had very little debt and very high income. So, I was kind of saying, okay, well, let's see what we can do. So I asked Will Avzali of frontierloangroup.com or frontierloangroup.com to come in. Yep, just got a little.
Gotta know our website, buddy.
Yeah, got to know it. So Will came in. I asked Will. I said, Will, can you break that down for me and let me know what are the options for somebody who has maybe 5% down? What are their options? So Will, what did you find out?
Yeah, so they were, their loan officer structured them with an FHA loan. An FHA loan is a government loan. It's a higher cost loan. As you know, there's the upfront mortgage insurance. So if I can find a way to put you into a conventional loan, I will do so.
Well, just for the record, people who are listening, I know if you're interested in buying a home, if you use an FHA loan to buy your house, you're going to have to pay two forms of mortgage insurance. You're going to have to pay the upfront mortgage insurance fee, correct, and then you're going to have to pay an annual mortgage insurance premium. So that's what he's referring to is the higher cost is the fact that you have to pay upfront mortgage insurance premium.
And then upfront, everybody usually just finances it and puts it on top of the loan, and that can make your loan. And this person's example, their loan balance grew by $10,000 automatically. That's huge.
That's a lot.
That hurts.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. I mean, especially when but you know what? I think you're a good point. No one really tells them that until it comes down to it and say, oh, here's what your loan amount's going to be like. Well, I thought I was putting 5% down. Oh, that's okay, but we are putting back in your upfront mortgage insurance premium.
All the costs.
Yeah, you're putting your cost in there, and your loan. So you're financing more money than you actually think.
Exactly. And our whole goal is to make sure everyone has the lowest rate, the lowest payment, and gets out of debt really fast. That's the overall goal, right? Right. You don't want to keep tacking on a higher balance.
Well, I think the goal is to give people options and to just not tell them, oh, you have to have an FHA loan because you have this much down. There are other options available to you. There's different types of programs, and find the one that fits the best. I mean, so many people are interest rate driven, but you know what? Sometimes interest rates are not what they seem, especially when you have mortgage insurance premiums involved and you have all this stuff. So, Will, tell us a little bit about some of the different options for someone, for a situation like this. So you have the FHA as a possibility. What else is possible?
Yeah, so you'd want to probably go conventional. Fannie Mae just came out with a product for 5% down on loans that are 417 to 562 in the San Diego market or 625, 500 in the LA and Orange County market. Basically what that means is you can put 5% down, and anytime you put less than 20% down, you have mortgage insurance.
So who's paying those mortgage insurances?
The mortgage insurance is paid by the borrower, and it's paid in two forms. You can have it where your rate can be really, really low, and you can do what's called a borrower-paid insurance. A lot of people and a lot of loan officers will lead out with that because, again, when people are calling in, what's your interest rate? What's your interest rate? They want to quote you the lowest rate. However, your payment will be higher with a borrower-paid insurance versus what's called a lender-paid mortgage insurance. The reason being is lenders get a better deal on mortgage insurance. And what they do is they put it into your rate. So, for example, that person that has, a 4.25, this person might have, maybe about a 4.5 or so. But their payment is less. Not to mention, when you have borrower-paid mortgage insurance, that mortgage insurance is not tax deductible. Whereas when you pay interest, that's tax deductible. So I look to maximize your tax deduction. Obviously, the benefits of owning a home.
Well, I think what happens is a lot of times some lenders, because it's just so easy to dump people into FHA, because FHA is very forgiving, and that's one of the reasons why people go FHA, because the FICO scores can be a little bit more. There can be. It doesn't have to be a perfect file for FHA to take it.
Correct.
So what we have here is a scenario where we have somebody who is not your prototypical FHA client. The only reason they're going FHA is because they don't have the down payment. So what you're telling me is that shopping for alternatives and giving people choices in how they do it is probably the better way to do it.
Exactly. And, their payment is obviously, if you compare it to the lender-paid insurance that we had with the world's best mortgage insurance purchase that we have, their payment was, $400 less. And that's a big savings.
Well, you're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. We're here with Will Afzali of Frontier Loan Group, and Michelle Herrera of Michael Gaddis Realty Group is also here joining us. So we're talking about, financing and when you're looking to buy a house. And right now, there's a lot of people, as Michelle's taking a selfie of herself.
Yeah,
just so you all know, she's
Was I caught?
Yeah, she's caught taking a selfie of herself.
See if you were,
Yeah, you can see that photo on Instagram. So anyway,
you sidetracked me and I deleted my selfie. I want you to know that.
Well, you can always, I'm sure you'll take another one. You're selfie-holic. So anyway, back to the interest rate discussion. I mean the program discussion here. We have these different programs. Now, here's what I found out. A lot of people who are looking to buy houses now, especially first-time home buyers, things like, they don't know a lot about the process. Mm-hmm. They don't know. Really, I mean, home buying can be kind of complicated and daunting to somebody who has never done it before. I mean, if you've never bought a house before, I mean, where do you start? Who do you talk to? There's two elements to it. You have the real estate side and the finance side. Unless you got, $500,000 or whatever laying around that you're going to pay cash for, which most people don't. Rare. You got to get a loan. And then you have to figure out how those two things interrelate with each other. And so I had this particular person, when they called me, I spoke to him actually last night. I had a very lengthy conversation with him, explaining him both the real estate process and the loan process. And they were like, well, thank you. I wish somebody would have told us that. And, irony is that they do have an agent. And it was kind of funny because I said, didn't your agent explain any of this stuff to you, how the process works, any of that stuff? She goes, well, no, it's really just my wife's friend. And, that goes back to my old adage that, never use family or friends to be your real estate professional or your loan professional for that matter. It's a business transaction, and what you need is guidance. And what I always do with my clients is I constantly educate them on everything. Believe me, by the time somebody's done with me, they know more about real estate or loans than most real estate professionals, because I demand that they do that. I demand that they understand why I'm making the choices that I'm doing and doing the things that I'm doing. And that's where something like this comes into play. Having somebody like Will Afzali who actually understands the different programs and doesn't assume immediately, well, I'm going to dump him into an FHA just because he has, only 5%
that's the easy
down.
solution. And not only that, but most loan officers, their whole goal is to talk to as many people as they can. But I'm going to obviously spend the most amount of time talking to you, going over why you should go with this program, and highlighting the pros and the cons, and then just comparing and contrasting with other programs.
Yeah, ultimately it comes up to your choice as to what you want to do. Yeah. But having a good guide that's there saying, hey, look, let's bounce some things around here. Should you let's play the devil's advocate. Should you get the FHA loan, or should you entertain one of these other? And, either a lender-paid MI program or maybe a borrower-paid MI program,
and maybe
compare
explaining what the difference is. Most people don't even know the difference and the advantage or disadvantage of either one.
That's right. And I think that, and that's the advantage also of working with a broker versus a direct lender. When you work with a broker, brokers have a wide range of knowledge, not just with loan products, but with different banks and investors. Banks have different programs. No bank is created the same. Their interest rates aren't the same. Their underwriting guidelines aren't the same. Their programs are not the same. And having someone who is well versed in different programs really opens up options to you. And that's, I think, to me, if I'm hiring somebody to do anything for me, I want to hire someone who's the best and the most knowledgeable. That's what I do. Just like we were talking about the painter earlier, or the photographer. I go and try to hire the best. That's what I do.
Exactly. And even this morning, right before I got on the show, somebody called me. They have a down payment assistance program in the Riverside County, and they're going to get about 3%, towards their down. But, I looked at what they had, what they're being offered, and I said, you know what? Here's actually another program that you don't know about. And I presented it, and she's going to get 5% towards her down and her closing costs. So it's an extra 2% that she would have left if she would have known about the program.
Yeah, and
that's huge,
and
right?
That's huge. That's really huge. And so here's the thing, and I think Will hits on a very, very big point. And this is the biggest piece of advice I can give everyone. So everyone if you're driving in your car, pull over to the side of the road, get a piece of paper out and get a pen, because I'm going to tell you something that you're going to need to know. And I'm going to tell you this, and after I tell it to you and you write it down, I want you to put it on your refrigerator. If it doesn't fit, get a piece of tape or a magnet, whatever you got to do, put it up on your refrigerator if you're looking for a house. Here's what it is. Don't look at houses until you get your financing in order.
Yeah.
Get your financing in order first. You have to have that in line. Have a good command of what you can afford and what you're going to expect on the financial side. Do not jump into looking at houses. Do not put do not put the cart before the horse. The horse is the loan. It drives the cart, which is the real estate. You have to get that in order. So many times I get calls from buyers saying, "Oh, okay." And we ask, "Have you been pre-qualified?" "Oh, well, I kind of talked to somebody, but do you understand what you're getting?" You have to do that, because if you do not, you waste your time. Not only does it affect your time, it affects your emotions, because you're going to get wrapped up looking for houses, and either one, you're not going to be qualified. Two, it's going to cost you more than what you think, or three, you're not going to be able to purchase the kind of house you want, and you've been shopping up in the $500,000 market, and you should be like in the $4,000, or maybe you find out that you can afford more house than what you thought.
True. I think another thing is too, by the time say you found your home, you found it today, and then it's a Friday and bankers leave Saturdays and Sundays, and like, oh, well, now we have to go back and get pre-qualified. Well, in that time it takes for you to get the pre-qual letter, the other agent could have easily accepted another offer. Do you know what I mean? So you can take yourself out of the market.
Yeah, you really need to get your
it's
financing
really a waste of
in
time
line.
to go through homes without
I know
a letter in
it is. It is very, very true.
And pre-qual shouldn't just be, here's my financials and, tell me what I can afford. You need to also talk to your loan officer and tell them, hey, this is a payment that I'm comfortable paying. Find me a program that will keep my payment right here. And this is my down payment. This is what I want to put down. That way you're finding something that's comfortable for you.
Well, all you people who are looking for houses, put that on your refrigerator and do not forget it. After the break, we're going to talk about reverse mortgages and how reverse mortgages purchasing a house with a reverse mortgage can really, really help someone out. So you're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170, The Answer.
This is AM 1170, The Answer.
What if you could safely grow your retirement account with a reasonable rate of return with no risk of principal? Hi, this is Dave Harris with Wealth Preservation, specializing in retirement income and insurance planning. There's nothing I enjoy more than helping San Diegans protect and grow their retirement savings. For over 4 decades, we have helped families achieve financial success. If you need help with your retirement planning, please visit me online or call me today. My number is 800-313-PLAN, or visit me online at wealthpreservationllc.com.
Hi, this is John Beaudry, the landscape contractor. There's nothing I enjoy more than helping San Diegans create gardens where they can spend time outdoors in our fantastic weather and save money on their water bills. I've helped hundreds of people create outdoor spaces where they can literally live outdoors. If you need help with your landscape, I'll be happy to discuss it with you for free. No strings attached, just great advice. My number is 619-929-9140 or visit me online at beaudrydesign.com. That's BEAUDRY design.com. I look forward to hearing from you.
Who would you rather have representing you when buying or selling your home? A real estate agent or a real estate and mortgage broker who is also a licensed California attorney? To sell your home for top dollar, or if you're facing a forced sale due to divorce, probate, short sale, or bankruptcy, you'll need the added value and marketing services of a realtor with the knowledge and experience of a licensed attorney and mortgage broker on your side.
Hi, I'm Michael Gaddis. I give you more, but it doesn't cost you more.
Visit MichaelGaddis.com. That's Michael, Gaddis.com. DRE 0146543, NMLS 28001.
Your home should be a place that you love coming to. Hi, I'm Nikki Klug, interior designer, and there is nothing I enjoy more than helping San Diegans live in homes that they fall madly in love with. I've helped hundreds of homeowners experience a sense of luxury, rejuvenation, and inspiration in their everyday lives. If you need help creating a home that you love, please visit me online at NikkiKlugDesign.com or call me at 619-948-7173.
Welcome back to the Michael Gaddis Show on AM 1170 The Answer. I am your host, Michael Gaddis of MichaelGaddis.com and FrontierLoanGroup.com. Again, Frontier Loan Group is licensed by the California Bureau of Real Estate, license number 01449152, NMLS number 345305. Michael Gaddis, that's me. I'm licensed by the California Bureau of Real Estate, 014-33800, NMLS ID number 280011. And I'm going to have to ask everybody's forgiveness who is listening to this show right now because I did not discuss the Star Wars movie. Oh. And during the break, we talked about it, and I feel ashamed of myself right now, and I must apologize for it because it is like the biggest thing that's happened since I don't even know what. I mean, it is like affecting everyone.
Have you seen Star Wars?
Well, Michelle, I have not yet, and I believe it or not, I'm a huge fan.
Really?
But I don't like crowds, and I know you say
there are no crowds.
I know. Well, no crowds. It's made what, $800 million? There's no crowds.
There's a lot of movie theaters.
Yeah, maybe where you watch them. I'm not sure what movie theaters you're going
that
to.
Thing, around the clock. You'll find.
I think a lot of people are stuck with that mentality that it's going to be a full, and nobody wants to do that, and there's going to be lines. But
now, Michelle, are you a big Star Wars fan?
I'm not huge, but I do like Star Wars.
Okay, so what is your impression of this movie?
It was really good. It was.
Don't spoil it though.
Yeah, don't give any spoilers out there.
How do I tell you? Let me just for anybody who hasn't seen it, the end takes it home.
Wow.
But did you? Are you one of those people who grew up with Star Wars toys and things like that?
No, I didn't do. I grew up with Barbies more so, but I always appreciated Star Wars.
Now I know Paul grew up with Star Wars toys.
Absolutely.
No,
I know my brother and I beat the crap out of each other with lightsabers as kids. It was awesome.
Go.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is seriously it affects people on a level I don't think I've ever quite seen before.
No, the only reason I even know Star Wars, I dated this guy, and he was older, and he was obsessed with Star Wars. Like, it was kind of pathetic.
Did he look like Chewbacca?
God, no.
I have a question. Is it lightsaber?
Light
or lightsaber?
Saber. It's like a sword.
A sword.
Yes.
It's not a candy. They're not throwing candy at each other.
This is clearly coming from someone who does not watch Star Wars.
Let me ask you a question,
Do
Will.
you know who Chewbacca is?
Because I think you just called yourself out. How many of the Star Wars movies have you seen, Will?
How many are there?
Is about
How
finance,
many are
not
no?
Yeah, that's a good question. Will, trivia. How many Star Wars films are there?
6.
Close.
5.
No. There are now 7.
This is the 7th.
This is the 7th.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Have you seen?
How many of them are?
And be honest with us.
How many of them are really
because
good?
I'm going to tell you, Paul's going to know if you're lying.
Okay. Yep.
Have you seen every movie?
No, I have not.
Oh my gosh,
Paul, I'm sorry.
All good, man.
But the hot chocolate here is really good.
What about you, Michelle? Have you seen every movie?
I have.
Wow.
Oh, look.
I'm embarrassed.
Wow, you should
That's
be.
pretty good. I'm gonna have. You know what? I'm gonna have a marathon this weekend.
You say that, and then next week we're going to come on here, and then it's going to be
But you know what? I have all the movies, so we're going to make sure that happens for you.
I have the Star Wars Christmas special.
Oh my! Do you guys even know what that is?
No,
There was a Christmas special in 1977. It was aired only one time, and it was because of the success of Star Wars. They had this Christmas special, and it was not sanctioned by George Lucas.
In fact, at one point before the internet, he said it was his life's goal to get every copy of that and have it destroyed.
Really?
It was that bad.
It was horrible.
So you know this about Star Wars, and you still haven't gone to see the movie? That shocks my mind.
I know everything. That's why I'm San Diego's real estate expert.
In the Star Wars Christmas special, the cantina is owned by B. Arthur from Golden Girls.
No kidding.
Yep.
I think it was owned by her.
A true Star Wars fanatic speaking.
Yeah, I think Paul, he might dress up like a Jedi at night or something like that.
Chewbacca?
Trying to. Yeah. It was bad, but
so I know that Star Wars is a big thing for everybody. So I apologize for not addressing it in the first, second, or third segment.
Your apology, Michael.
But I'm just bursting to see it. I can't wait, especially when someone like Michelle sees it and likes it, because
talking about how Harrison Ford just made bank.
Killed it.
Let me ask you a question. How many selfies did you take while you were watching the movie, Michelle?
No, I actually enjoy movies, and I put my phone away, and I turn it on silent, and I don't look at my phone throughout the whole movie. Thank you very much.
I do not believe you.
That is 100% truth.
Okay, we'll see. Well, on to our topic at hand, away from Star Wars. We're talking about reverse mortgage purchases here. Now, as people are getting older, one of the things I'm discovering is that I always tell people, look, don't get into a reverse mortgage unless you're in your forever house. You have to be in your forever house. That, to me, that makes sense. But if you're not, don't do it. So let's say you go to somebody who wants a reverse mortgage, but they're in a house that's either too big for them, has two stories, and they really want one story. What's a good way to handle them? Well, a good way to handle them is a reverse mortgage purchase. So, Will, why don't you tell us a little bit about that? What exactly is a reverse mortgage purchase?
Well, just like any other loan, you can use a reverse mortgage purchase loan to put down, depending on the price of the home, but generally about 50 to 55% of the home you got to put down. And you won't have any monthly payments. That's the biggest.
So that's amazing for people, and it really opens up the door for homeowners and for real estate professionals who want to help their clients. I mean, Michelle, in Orange County, I know there's some senior communities, and there's areas up there that are dedicated to that. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people up there who probably don't know that reverse mortgage purchases are even an option.
Yeah, I think they definitely don't. People don't understand it. What it is, it allows somebody to live in their home without a mortgage payment, therefore increasing, their monthly income. So people who are on a fixed income, it's very beneficial for them.
Yeah, and it allows them to, like, if you said, if the house they're living in is not the perfect house for them, and they're one drawback from getting a reverse mortgage is, well, this isn't the house I want to stay in
then
forever.
They can go they can purchase a home, what's that word? Come on, Michael, you're good at words.
You can what? You sell the house?
No, you can purchase a home at the same time
as
doing a reverse mortgage.
Concurrent, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what it is.
They'll sell. They have a lot of equity. They'll sell their home. They'll go buy that one-story home next to their grandkids and put a substantial amount down, like you said.
Well, people think that a reverse mortgage is that you have to already be living in the home, had already purchased the home, and then do a reverse mortgage. But you can actually do it when first purchasing the home.
Yeah.
Yes, you can do it when you're purchasing the house, as long as you intend to occupy the house as
your primary
That's
residence.
right. You have to do that. And so, that's where I think it really opens up the door for people who are out there who might be living in their house.
Better quality living.
Yeah, if they're barely making ends meet, and but they're living in a house that they know maybe there's stairs and they can't climb the stairs quite as well, or maybe they don't anticipate being able to do that. It allows them to say, hey, you know what? Here's a plan. A plan is, one, I'll sell the house, I'll take the proceeds of the house, I'll buy a new house and use it to get a reverse mortgage, and that will be my forever house.
Mm-hmm.
I had somebody actually about a year ago. I spoke to him about a reverse mortgage. He said, absolutely not. I'm okay. I'm still pretty young. I'm about 63 years old. I'm doing all right. She called me a few weeks ago. She has knee problems. Now she's she wants to actually sell her house, change the property, and find a single story home, because you just don't know what's going to happen to your body.
Well, I think that's right, and you know,
Right? I mean,
you know
we
what?
don't.
I think that's right. You know, just never know. And you know
Thank
what?
God for
I want to
Botox.
thank my guest today, Michelle Herrera of Michael Gaddis Realty Group, and Will Avzali of FrontierLoanGroup.com. You guys, as always, have been amazing, and I'm glad you guys
you for
came
having
down
us.
here.
Pleasure to be here. I like it.
As always, you're listening to the Michael Gaddis Show on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. I'll be here every Wednesday talking about anything and everything, and I guess that's the new thing, not related to real estate. It could be Star Wars or whatever.
Anything and everything that's relative.
Yeah, so I want everyone to say two things before I leave. First, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Be safe and have a great holiday with your families. And two, the last thing I want to say before I leave is may the Force be with you, because by the time I talk to you next time, I will have seen
Let's
Star
hope
Wars.
so.
May the Force be with you, people. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.